President Trump, I voted for you. I believe in you. We need your help here in the Bronx. We have put up with a culture of corruption for over 40 years now. Governor Cuomo has let organized crime flourish since he's headed up HUD. Mayor de Blasio, you should be ashamed of yourself. Your tenant harassment task force is a farce, just like you. When you go to the Department of Investigation, like I did in September 2016, after absolutely being driven crazy by my landlord for 40 years over a rent-controlled apartment, and you hand them what amounts to a dossier on organized crime in Morris Park going back to 1980, and they sweep it under the carpet, we have a big problem here. I have gone to the Department of Justice. I have written to Preet Bharara. I have the proof. I have tried to contact the Attorney General's office. Basically, they just give you the runaround. You get no traction unless you have some juice, unless you have these politicians in the Northeast Bronx. They are the worst, in your pocket. The landlords have them in their pocket. What goes on in Bronx Housing Court is an absolute disgrace. Darcel Clark and Robert Johnson lend a whole new level of hypocrisy to blind justice. They have remained blind to what goes on in the Department of Buildings, HPD, DHCR, and Bronx Housing Court. It's ridiculous what goes on. As a matter of fact, because of Governor Cuomo's organized crime pals, I've been cheated out of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of benefits. And thanks to kissy-face Jeff Klein, too. What has happened to me should be a Lifetime movie. It's an absolute disgrace. Us Ferronis, have fought and died for our country. The very apartment my family's lived in since 1929, when my great-grandfather built it, housed my cousin Richard Ferroni Strahl, who died on maneuvers during Vietnam trying to save his men from drowning. He saved some of his men from drowning after he drowned himself. He got the New York State Medal of Honor posthumously. We are good people here, and we are made to live like animals. Mice, no heat, repairs that don't get made in spite of numerous complaints. It is really disgusting, and you know something's wrong when you go through your community board, file a tenant harassment complaint to the Attorney General's office, and you never get a reply. Actually, when I went to the Department of Investigation and spoke to Glenn Greenberg and his witness Elizabeth, who refused to give me a last name, I warned him that my landlord has gotten away with an illegal upgrade in 2006, and he's going to do it again. And sure enough, in June, Vito Manginelli Jr. illegally allowed Cop Electric from Maspeth, Queens, into our apartment, broke open the walls to do this upgrade. Now, I almost had a fire here. So what are you going to do when we're in the news for a fire, that there's a fire and FDNY and tenants were killed? I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to do just like they did in East Harlem. They're going to blame the tenant. Yeah, the tenant blew herself up with a gas line that's probably as old as Methuselah. Yeah, okay. And they keep getting away with this stuff. As a matter of fact, the way my first case was handled in Bronx Housing Court, Judge Thermos, Court Clerk Hickson, Guardian at Line and Maxine Brennan, they should all be in jail, and my landlord, for collusion and possible, it is organized crime, even if it doesn't involve the 5 families. It's organized crime. When you let a judge, when you're telling someone for the past 40 years that your apartment, your rent-controlled apartment, was never registered, and they let you default while you're having a hysterectomy. I reported that to the DOJ, and yes, I did check off the organized crime box. Again, the complaints went nowhere. Vito Manganiello and a pool of management are made of Teflon. And the most disgusting thing, Mayor de Blasio, is you allow these people that are here illegally to get jobs, take them away from Americans. You have these management companies. You don't know who's coming in your house, if they have a license, an electrician's license, if they're here legally, if they're felons. You could have rapists coming in your house and murderers, and nobody's the wiser, because us, the good citizens, are the bad people, and the illegal immigrants and all these criminals get carte blanche to just keep on doing whatever they want. You, Mayor de Blasio, have cultivated a culture of corruption, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You suck.